Out of focus, into love. The last thing Ava Montgomery wanted was another photo shoot. The glitz had long lost its shimmer, and the flash of cameras now felt more like a migraine trigger than a compliment. But the studio had already been booked in Shoreditch, the wardrobe was steamed, and her manager, Trina, was giving her the don't even try it look. So Ava showed up, rainy London in all its moody glory, wrapped in a Burberry trench and a sour attitude. She was famous, yes, but that didn't mean she had to like it every minute. The photographer was late, or so she thought. "Hi, I'm Jamie," said a man's voice from behind a lens. "Sorry if I startled you. I tend to blend into walls." She turned to see a tall, slightly scruffy man with a camera slung over one shoulder and an apologetic smile. He was not the slick type she was used to, no designer shoes, no affected European accent. Just jeans, boots, and a jumper with a tiny tear on the sleeve, a real human. Interesting. "You're the photographer?" Ava asked, raising an eyebrow. "Unless you were expecting Annie Leibovitz," Jamie replied. "I'm the discount version, but I do come with snacks." He held up a bag of Percy Pigs. Ava smirked, despite herself. "You're already my favorite photographer." The shoot started slow. Ava posed like a pro, chin slightly down, eyes intense, angles practiced. Jamie didn't direct much. He just let her move, occasionally muttering something like, "Beautiful but too vogue. Try existing?" That's when it shifted. She relaxed, let her hands fall to her sides, looked out the window instead of at the camera. Jamie snapped a photo when she wasn't ready, and that ended up being the best shot of the day. During wardrobe changes, they talked. He asked what it was like to walk red carpets. She asked why he never took them seriously. "I once tripped over a velvet rope trying to photograph Daniel Radcliffe," Jamie said. "That sort of humbles you for life." She laughed, loudly, genuinely. He offered her another Percy Pig. A week later, Ava found herself in his studio again, not for work, just to see the prints. Jamie's studio was the size of a cupboard with walls covered in black and white portraits of strangers who looked like old friends. He handed her a Polaroid camera. "You ever try shooting instead of posing?" "No," she said, eyeing the camera warily. "Well, there's a first time for everything," he winked. She spent the afternoon snapping blurry shots of his plants, his bookshelf, his left ear. He didn't mind. He just smiled when she said, "I'm terrible at this," and replied, "You're still better than my intern. He left the lens cover on." By sunset, they were sitting on his fire escape, sipping lukewarm tea. "I forgot people like you existed," she said quietly. He looked at her sideways. "People who make bad tea?" "No, people who don't treat me like I'm made of stardust and press releases." Jamie blinked. "You're not?" Smiling, she gave him a side eye and bumped his shoulder with hers. They started spending more time together. Sometimes he'd meet her after interviews, and they'd walk along the Thames, eating chips from a paper cone. Other nights, she'd sneak into his gallery shows, wearing a beanie and oversized glasses, like she was in a bad spy movie. Paparazzi never caught them. It was their little secret, and it made the whole thing more magical. When he found out she couldn't ride a bike Jamie taught her in Hyde Park, she crashed into a bush, twice. He called her Tour de Fabulous for a week after. The first time they kissed was in a photo booth at Camden Market. Ava pulled the curtain, said, "Smile," and kissed him just as the shutter clicked. The photo came out blurry, crooked, perfect. She stuck it in her wallet. When Trina noticed Ava humming during meetings and writing JM in the corner of her scripts, she narrowed her eyes and said, "Who is he?" Ava smiled. "Just a guy with a camera and too many snacks." Inevitably, the world found out. A grainy photo of Jamie tying her shoelace outside a bakery hit the tabloids. "Who is Ava's mystery man?" said the headlines. Twitter erupted. So did Trina's phone. Jamie handled it well, too well. Ava started to worry. "Are you secretly a monk?" she asked. "Why aren't you freaking out?" He shrugged. "I once got punched while photographing a wedding. The groom thought I was flirting with his bride. This is nothing." Still, he gave her space when she needed it. And when she didn't, he simply showed up, with his camera, or chocolate, or just that quiet way of being that made her forget to pose. Their relationship wasn't perfect. She missed dates because of press tours. He got grumpy when people called him Mr. Ava Montgomery. There were arguments about normal things, laundry, phone calls, who stole the last hobnob. But there was laughter too. So much laughter. One rainy Sunday, they returned to the photo booth in Camden Market. Ava held up a small velvet box. "Smile," she said. Jamie turned to her, stunned. "Are you?" The shutter clicked. "Yes," she said. Their wedding was tiny. Just family and close friends who were sworn to keep the venue of their wedding a secret, which was one of Jamie's friends' backyard, which also housed a very large pet swan. A memorable wedding indeed. Ava still acted, Jamie still photographed, but they always made time for walks, tea, and the occasional crash into a bush. Because in the end, love didn't need perfect lighting. Just someone who sees you clearly, even when you're out of focus.